The warrior. Disciplined, brutal, decisive. But despite all of this, they're still the class that dies the most. Shit. Really? Fuck. People say it's hard playing a warrior. That's because they're bad. If you want to know the truth about the warrior, don't go anywhere. Thanks for sticking with me. Before we continue, I would like to give a short disclaimer that most of my information in this video is anecdotal and from my own experience of many years of playing. So if something might be off, don't throw a tantrum. Okay, now that we're done with that, let's continue with the fundamentals of the warrior. This class is part of the backbone in PvE content. Warriors are the best tanks, they're top tier DPS and have a lot of strengths in PvP. But where does the story begin for a young warrior? Well, this is also where the warriors are hard to level people like to pitch in. When you log into your warrior for the first time, you will see that you are very strong in the level 1 to 6 range. But notice a significant drop in damage per second and an increase in damage taken as soon as you hit the next quest hub. Why does this occur? To explain this, we need to understand that the chance to miss an equal level mob with a two-handed weapon with max weapon skill is about 5%. In other words, 1 in 20 hits is a miss. We also have to take into account the chance of parrying and dodging. So if you have a weapon with 3.2 seconds attack speed and you miss twice or even 3-4 times in a row if RNG isn't on your side, you lose between 6 to 12 seconds of damage. This is the main reason why leveling a warrior can be difficult if you do not try to find a solution to the problem. Let me list some weaknesses of the warrior. They have little to no mobility in combat until later levels. There's almost no crowd control abilities and they have no self-heal. So how do we fix this? Does this mean we warriors just have to suck it up and be shit until level 60? No, of course not. And people who think so are the ones I'm trying to address today. Let's look at the things that will make your life easier. First thing to take a look at is professions. There are multiple useful professions for a leveling warrior, but many fall into the trap that is blacksmithing. Just because you wear armor doesn't mean that blacksmithing will help you. Fact is that if you want to keep your blacksmithing on par with your level, you're gonna spend more time and money grinding than it would take to get dungeon blues in the same time spent. Personally, I've always leveled my warrior with alchemy. Alchemy provides solid leveling help, health potions, which you should never be afraid of using, troll's blood elixir, which is a health regen pot, and various other potions like lion strength, ogre strength, etc. There is another alternative that is widely popular, especially amongst the PvP crowd. Yes, you guessed it, engineering. The engineering skill may be very good for PvP, but it does not come without useful items to use whilst leveling. The various dynamites are good to use when you need that extra DPS when you're overpulled or fighting a boss. But the bombs with a stun is also very usable since you might want that extra escape mobility, since the worst downtime is the corpse run. Moving back to the weakness of using two-handed weapons and their mischance, there are some easy ways to get around this, and even become relatively strong as a leveler. That is to keep your weapons on par with your level. Always. How would you do this? Me personally, I always try and get the best dungeon weapons in my 5 level bracket. 20, 25, level 30, etc. This way I get a chance to do all the dungeons and get a break from my leveling. But it's not only my weapon I need to keep updated. It's also my tanking set. Yes, you're going to tank dungeons. You don't need to, sure, but you're gonna want to. And a common misconception is that you need to be spec'd into protection to tank. But Arms of Fury is absolutely fine. Tanking dungeons come with all the perks. You can always start your own party since you're in high demand. This way you can make sure no other warriors are in the party to compete with your drops. This also gives you the perk of not having downtime between runs, since you're in high demand. So rerunning dungeons for that sweet axe is always worth it. I'm not gonna go into detail about this, but I want to say that if you want to level as dual wield, that's completely fine. Don't listen to the naysayers. It's loads of fun. Getting the good weapons are even more important though, and having a fast dagger in the offhand for rage generation is essential. While on the subject, let's take a chronological look at which weapons to keep an eye out for. Before level 30, you're going to be using what you get your hands on. But when you hit 30, you will get the Cyclonian questline for the Whirlwind Axe. This axe will take you deep into Stranglethorn and venturing into the Arathi Highlands. Killing the Highlands elementals can be rough, so bring a friend. Next up is the Skald Monastery. Except for the basically full mail set it offers, there are also two great quest reward weapons here. First, for the Alliance, we have the Bonebiter Axe. This is essentially the first upgrade for the Whirlwind Axe. And for the Horde, we have the Sword of Omen, a great main hand for all the dual wielders out there. Next station takes us to Race of Downs. Here we can find Excalibur, the first upgrade for Hordes, and for humans running sword spec. Now that we're well into our 40s, the Rock Pounder from Uldaman, a level 44 mace, is going to take us all the way to level 51, where we will get the Ice Barbed Spear from Alterac Valley, if the patch is here. Otherwise, we will be looking to get Lord Alexander's Battle Axe, so save your gold. And finally, at level 60, if you're going to be playing Two-Handed Fury, buy an Arcanite Reaper. Otherwise, save your money and buy the Lionheart Helmet. As an end note, before I let you go on with your day, I would like to emphasize how important it is to keep your first aid in shape. First aid is the reason why playing a warrior doesn't suck. It helps you make your downtime close to zero if you're disciplined and keep your gear updated. On the same note, to use first aid you need cloth, and cloth drops from humanoids, so always try to find grind spots of humanoids. When I level to 60, I grind humanoids from level 15 to 60. As early as in the Barrens you can find good spots to grind humanoids, syndicates in Hillspread, ogres in Alterac Mountains, harpies in Stone Talon Mountains, you name it, etc. And if you're leveling with a two-hander, please spec Fury, and please spec Improved Cleave. This will save you from dying when overpulling. Once again, removing another argument from the whiners. Thanks for listening, this was all for me. Hopefully I see you in one of my Warcraft streams. Otherwise, see you next time.